Just arrived at Kingspan. We're going to go inside, have a look. So this is the company that does timber frame, modular and SIP panels for the project in Bicker, Boston, where we're building 40 houses. We're looking at using these guys. So initially we've got a meeting with their national sales manager, their operations manager, their contracts manager and their finance manager, I believe. And then from our team, there's myself, there's our head of construction, there's our quantity surveyor, our site manager and our trainee graduates project manager. So there's quite a few of us. We're going to go through the contract plan, look at the pricing and go through a few different things. Once we've done that bit you're not going to see on camera, by the way. Once we've done that, the national sales manager is going to take us around the factory, show us some of the different types of panels that they make, which is going to be interesting, I hope, and you'll get kind of an inside view of how those things are made and you'll get a better understanding, which I hope you're going to find useful. So let's go inside and have a look. We're going into the Kingspan building now, and this is where they build all the timber frame, modular, SIP panels. So the national sales manager, Paul's going to show us around, so you get to see behind the scenes how things are made and what everything looks like. Let's go and have a look.
We use where we can use a timber beam in a design, we'll use a timber beam. We don't tend to like steel, but if we have to do it, we'll put the steel in and then it'll be part of the package. But 9 times out of 10, we can use a timber beam rather than a steel beam.
Which is more sustainable than...
It's more sustainable, it's just easier to work with as well, and it's more integral within a timber frame building. Is they work out what is the best way to cut up all the bits of timber they've got to cut to give the least wastage. So it's very, very useful for us because it completely cuts down our waste. So what we end up with, you know, is little bits of waste. We're quite unique in a way because most people buy treated timber and they cut it and then they dab the ends with a brush and treatment, and then they can't recycle their waste because it's treated waste. We buy untreated timber, so in the summertime all of our waste can go into bedding, recyclable whatevers, chipboards, it goes into animal bedding, it goes to all sorts of places. But then what we do is after we've cut our timbers, and I'll take you over there, we treat it ourselves because we've got our own treatment plant. You can see there on the far side, you can see the little strap. So that's the lifting straps that are built in.
Yeah.
They're a one-time use, so once the panel's lifted in place, you cut it off, don't have to worry about it. You can see multiple studs, so there's a notch at the top. Yeah. There's obviously a beam sits into that, you've got all the supporting studs built in. They're wrapped around the panel. So slide it on the end, build it in. It will take the weight of the panel when the panel's being lifted off the crane, and then cut it off afterwards. We looked at torpedo fixings and all sorts, but the minute you do something that's reusable, you've got to have a tracking system in place and an annual testing regime. So, and these are silly money, you know, 5 pence a time or whatever they are. I mean, you know, mate, it's a no-brainer. So. So this is how it comes to site. So, you know, once it's lifted, dropped into position.
So it's pre-battened off site.
Pre-battened, yeah. So it's all ready for your services to now start doing what they want to do. the machine holds the OSB apart, the foam is injected wet, and it's controlled, and it cures as it's controlled through the factory line. And then when we get to the end, they route it out and trim it. And then where we join panels, we put in a joining sort of timber, which is, we call it a spline. And that maintains the continuity of the insulation around. If it's an end panel or it's a window opening or something like that, then we set in a timber instead. And where we put a timber in, timber to foam, we'll silicone it. Where we put a spline joint in, it's foam to foam, so then we foam it so it maintains an airtight seal. So, but that's a 172 tech panel. So it's a different animal again. This is the joining spline. So that slots in here, and when it slots in, you can see there what it does is it maintains it goes around that way, so it maintains the insulation around the perimeter. So you've got no break in it, no thermal breaks at all. So very good system, but it's got a particular place, I think, in the market.
I hope you found that tour useful, because I know I did. It was really good, so we know more about the product that we're buying. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button, post a comment or a question, let me know what you thought. And I think it'd be really useful for you if you have a look at the New England playlist right about here, and that's going to show you what we did with the commercial conversion on New England, and it's going to give you a deeper insight into what it takes to do a commercial conversion very quickly in the space of 10 months. That's 12 flats in 10 months. Have a look and let me know what you think.